Nothing like a little pepper steak pie for the boys halfway through the ride. The last couple of weeks there has been quite a lot of racing on the road, so I've been trying to juggle racing still with trying to keep up the Munga training, putting in the long hours, and I must say putting in the long hours training for the Munga have been paying off. I've been feeling really strong in the road races, got a second place at the Satellite Classic and managed to finish 4th overall in the Amashova Classic, which happened last week. After the Amashova I stayed down in KZN and I managed to join the Benky Rides crew, who are currently doing a tour in KZN. Out in the Midlands area of KZN, today we're riding from Nottingham Road, which is the Nottingham Road Hotel, to Heimville, which is very close to Underberg at the bottom of Sani Pass pretty much. And yeah, it'll be about 115 k's today. Body's a bit tired from Amashova. It's been a bit hectic with the racing, back-to-back race weekends for the last 2 weekends and for a few weekends coming. So between the racing, trying to get in a few long rides and enjoy it, to be joining a nice group today joining the Benky Rides group. And looking forward to it. It's the most beautiful place to ride in South Africa, in my opinion. The views are incredible. Kevin Benkenstein launched his business to try and promote riding bikes in beautiful places in South Africa, and his market is to capture foreigners coming to see South Africa, and more importantly on bikes.
My name is Kevin Benkenstein and I'm the founder of Benky Rides. Saying founder sounds weird because I just wanted to take people riding bikes and it needed to be a bit more official, so I made a company and I've been doing it for about 2 years now. It's growing slowly but surely, and I'm really lucky because I get to show people around South Africa. They get to show them my favorite places, our beautiful mountains, our beautiful roads, our beautiful people, all of the things that I love about riding, about South Africa, and why this is home for me. So we're here on our Trans Lesotho adventure, which is an expedition from Hilton in the KwaZulu-Natal Midlands all the way through to Clarence on the Free State, going via Lesotho, including Katsi Dam, Sani Pass, and a variety of other roads and trails along the way. This tour is exclusively foreigners, actually. We've got Australians, British, Belgians, Italians and Austrians. So a nice mix of people, most importantly a nice mix of abilities. So showing everyone that whether you are the strongest rider or a weekend warrior or somewhere in between, you can still have an adventure and see more of this country from your bike, which is the best way to see it. I think the biggest challenge is that most people's opinion that they know the country, they don't need to see it. They've been to the places, but the reality is that seeing Sani Pass is just a small part of the journey. It's the whole trip getting there is a huge part of it, and you can't get that feeling if you're just sitting in your car frustrated that there's a truck driving slowly in front of you. If you're out there, you feel the dirt, you feel the wind, you feel the sweat, you stop at the Shabin, you stop at the Spaza shop, you talk to locals, you high-five little children, you give them sweets and they run back to their mommy with their arms in the air. All of those things are what make South Africa special and what make riding through these areas so special. So I think the biggest challenge is just letting people know that it's different when you actually embrace the place that you are. And if you just open up yourself a little bit, then there's so much more that you see other than your power meter on your Garmin screen.
Kevin is one of the best ultra endurance cyclists South Africa has, and obviously going on this ride I got the opportunity to speak to him about the Munga. He has done it 3 times. His best place position has been 3rd place overall, so it was pretty awesome for me to come and join him on this ride and get some tips and tricks, and more importantly bring to you what he feels is the most important aspects of the race and how to approach the event.
The Munga's been going for 4 years now. This year's the 5th edition. I've done 3 of those races. I skipped, well, not skipped, but I missed the first one. I wasn't into that yet, and now this will be my 4th in a row. I've come 6th, 3rd and 4th, so I've been lucky to generally have half decent rides. I think the first time I did it, when I came 6th, probably the hardest 3.5 days of my, or 3 days of my entire life. I've never been so hot, so tired, so dehydrated, so everything, and I was so out of my depth. But every year I've come back with more experience, and that's been really good. It's a 1,080 kilometer race. There are 5 race villages which are compulsory to stop at, sign in, and just let everyone know that you're okay, really. And along the way there are also about, I want to say 10, but maybe 12 water points. And those are situated between 60 to 90 k's apart, and they're a chance for you to refuel, get water if you need it, and yeah, you don't have to stop at them, but you can. So it's a semi-self-supported race. You get food, water and a place to sleep, but you have to carry all of your stuff from beginning to end. You're not allowed any outside support. That's the most important part of the race. So your girlfriend can't be standing on the road in the middle of the desert with 2 ice cold bottles for you, but you can get support in the villages from official race team members. The other side of things is that it's a no draft race. So due to the nature of the start, which is a mass start, there is drafting to the first race village, which is about 220 kilometers in. But then after that, you're not allowed to sit in the slip. You have to have 5 meters between you and any rider, or you must ride 2 meters apart. So I think the first thing, and it's not even once you've done your entry, it's before you enter, is to know why you want to do it. I think that's a major determinant in your success and your potential to achieve. If you're doing it for likes on Facebook or Instagram, you're probably going to struggle when it gets really hard. But if you're doing it for the right reasons, and those reasons can vary between riders, then you're going to have a much better reason to keep going. So personally, I do it because I love pushing my body, I love seeing South Africa, I love meeting the people along the route, and it's just a beautiful race and a beautiful place. So my reason to keep going is because I get all of those things along the way, and I get to see what my personal limits are. Most of the people who I know who have enjoyed it, finished successfully despite tough moments, were there for themselves and there to really take the experience in. And I think that's a very successful formula. After that, there are about 500 things you can worry about, but about 3 things that you actually need to worry about. So you need to worry that you're healthy, you need to worry about your equipment, and you just need to be relatively fit. You don't have to be a superhero. You don't have to be able to ride 200 k's at a 30 average. All you need to be able to do is sit on your bike and enjoy yourself for 16 hours a day. That's not the easiest thing in the world, but you don't have to ride fast to finish this race. So it's not such a big deal. You can ride at 15 k's an hour, and that's not so hard. You just have to realize that. You need the right equipment. If you arrive with the lightest tires, you're probably going to puncture a lot, and that's not going to be much fun. If you arrive with a really thin carbon saddle, well, that's probably also not going to be great. But if you've been on your bike for months before, you know your bike, you have tested your equipment, you're used to having bags on your bike, because all of a sudden your 10 kg hardtail weighs 18 kgs, and that in itself is a challenge. And I think that's really important. And then from a fitness standpoint, you know, all you have to do is just get out there, be consistent in the months before, do a few long rides, get used to riding through the night, and yeah, then that's really enough. You don't have to be superhuman, you just have to really want to be there. And if you don't want to be there, then you're not going to finish. The biggest challenge is accepting that this isn't your normal ride. This is not the Durban beachfront. This is not the cradle. It's not Chappies. You know, this is the desert, and it's harsh, and you have to be willing to suffer. Even if you come last, you have to be willing to suffer. But if you just think logically and don't panic and just ride your bike, just ride your bike. It's not that hard. But if you think too much, you make it hard for yourself. You can survive without food. You can run out of food and be okay. You cannot run out of water, and you can't get cold. So nighttime is very cold in the crew. Last year we were down to 2 degrees, and to be honest, I underpacked, and we ended up stuffing emergency blankets down our tops just to keep warm in some way. I can't imagine starting with anything less than 4 liters of water carrying. It just makes no sense to me. It's too hard, and you can have up to 6 hours of 40-degree heat. You need to be prepared. Most of my business is done through Instagram and Facebook. That's the way we operate these days. And so we're on both of those platforms as Benky Rides, or you can email me, kevin@benkyrides.com. So we are there to help you prepare for events, to go for bike rides, to make sure you've got the right equipment, just even if it's just in terms of advice and a chat. And my goal when I started the business was to make people's riding lives better, bigger, and just more adventurous. So my goal is always just to help, and we're happy regardless of how silly it might seem or how big the question is, and we're always there to help if we can.
You could do well, bro. If you just trust yourself.
I can, but I also just don't want to.
So, bro, if I was you, first 200 Ks, I'd just sit in.
Yeah.
I wouldn't roll through.
Nothing.
I wouldn't fuck all. Like climbing and.
And where do you dorse?
I just dorse when I get tired on the side of the road. You just kind of like. You have to ride by feel. It's not like you have to ride fucking 30 Ks an hour. When I did races, Sarah won.
Ah.
And JC won this year. JC was the year I did it. He's like the best outlander ride on earth.
No way. Dude, the guy with the chocolate block on his.
With the mustard shirt on.
No way, is that guy?
Yeah, bro.